The unexpected visitor. Dr. Ilara Chen stared at the quantum entanglement device, her dark eyes reflecting the soft blue glow of its intricate circuitry. The lab hummed with the quiet energy of late-night research, the kind that promised breakthroughs or breakdowns in equal measure. Ilara's fingers hovered over the activation switch, a mix of excitement and trepidation coursing through her veins. "You sure about this, Doc?" Jake, her research assistant, asked from behind a wall of monitors. His usual laid-back demeanor was tinged with nervous energy. Ilara nodded, a determined smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "We've triple-checked everything, Jake. It's time to see if we can push the boundaries of quantum communication." With a deep breath, she flipped the switch. The device thrummed to life, its core pulsing with an otherworldly light. Streams of data flooded Jake's screens, numbers and graphs dancing in a symphony of quantum physics. "Looking good so far," Jake muttered, his fingers flying across the keyboard. "Quantum entanglement stable at... Wait, what the hell?" Ilara's eyes widened as the device's hum crescendoed into a high-pitched whine. The lab's lights flickered, and a shimmering distortion began to form in the air above the quantum entanglement device. Jake shut it down. Ilara shouted, lunging for the emergency cutoff. But before her hand could reach it, a blinding flash filled the room, forcing both scientists to shield their eyes. As the light faded and the spots cleared from their vision, Ilara and Jake found themselves face to face with something they never could have predicted. Standing before them, looking equally surprised and slightly disoriented, was a being that was undeniably not of this world. The alien, for there was no other word for it, stood nearly 7 feet tall, its slender body covered in iridescent scales that shifted colors like oil on water. Multiple arms, each ending in delicate, multi-jointed fingers, moved with fluid grace as the being steadied itself. Its large, almond-shaped eyes blinked vertically, focusing on the stunned humans before it. For a moment, the lab was silent save for the quiet beeping of machines and the soft rustle of the alien's movements. Then, to Ilara and Jake's utter astonishment, it spoke. "Well," the alien said in perfect, albeit slightly accented English, "this is rather unexpected." Ilara's scientific mind kicked into overdrive, pushing past the initial shock. You speak English." The alien's head tilted in what might have been amusement. "I speak many languages, Dr. Chen. Universal translators are quite common in the Galactic community. Though I must admit, I didn't expect to need it on this particular journey." Jake, who had been frozen in place, finally found his voice. "Galactic community? You mean there's a whole civilization out there?" "Indeed," the alien replied, its color-shifting scales taking on a more subdued hue. "A vast network of species and cultures spanning much of the Milky Way. A community that, until a few moments ago, did not include humanity." Ilara's mind raced with the implications. "But how did you get here?" "Our device was meant for communication, not transportation." The alien's eyes narrowed slightly, an expression that somehow conveyed both curiosity and concern. "That is precisely what I'd like to know, Dr. Chen. My name is Zixanth, and I am, or rather, was, en route to a diplomatic meeting several light years from here. Your quantum experiment seems to have intercepted my faster-than-light journey and pulled me off course." As if to underscore the gravity of the situation, alarms began blaring throughout the lab complex. Red emergency lights bathed the room in an eerie glow, and the distant sound of shouting and running feet echoed through the corridors. "Oh boy," Jake muttered, glancing nervously at the lab's sealed door. "I think someone noticed our little light show." Ilara's heart pounded as the reality of the situation sank in. They had just made first contact with an alien civilization, completely by accident, and now the full weight of human bureaucracy and paranoia was about to come crashing down on them. Zixanth, seemingly unperturbed by the chaos unfolding around them, fixed Ilara with an intense gaze. "Dr. Chen, I'm afraid your experiment has done more than just bring me here. You've inadvertently announced humanity's presence to the galaxy at large, and I must warn you, not everyone out there will be pleased by this development. Before Ilara could respond, the lab door burst open. A team of security personnel in full tactical gear swarmed in, weapons raised. Behind them, a stern-faced woman in a crisp suit strode in, her eyes widening at the sight of Zixanth. Dr. Chen, the woman said, her voice tight with controlled panic. I'm Agent Sarah Rees, National Security Council. I'm going to need you to step away from the visitor. Ilara raised her hands slowly, stepping in front of Zixanth. Agent Rees, please. There's no need for weapons. This is a peaceful first contact situation. Zixanth, its scales now pulsing with a calming blue light, addressed the room. Your caution is understandable, but unnecessary. I am a diplomat by nature and by trade. Perhaps we could discuss this situation in a more comfortable setting. Agent Rees hesitated, her training warring with the unprecedented nature of the scenario. Finally, she lowered her hand, signaling the security team to stand down. Dr. Chen, your guest, is right. We have a lot to discuss, and not much time to do it. The president is being briefed as we speak, and half the world's intelligence agencies are probably scrambling satellites to figure out what just happened in this lab. As they prepared to leave the lab, Ilara caught Zixanth's eye. The alien diplomat gave her what she could only interpret as a reassuring nod. Whatever came next, Earth's place in the universe had irrevocably changed, and it had all started with a quantum leap that no one had seen coming. Jake, still shell-shocked but unable to contain his excitement, summed up the situation as they were escorted out of the lab. So much for a quiet night of research, huh, Doc? Ilara couldn't help but laugh, the absurdity of the situation finally hitting her. Jake, I have a feeling quiet nights are going to be in short supply from now on. As they walked down the corridor, flanked by security and trailed by a fascinated alien diplomat, Ilara's mind raced with possibilities. They had unlocked the door to the stars, but what lay beyond was still a mystery. One thing was certain, humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. The White House Situation Room buzzed with tense energy. Screens lining the walls displayed a chaotic mix of news feeds, satellite imagery, and frantic text communications from world leaders. At the center of it all, President Adira Khoury sat, her usually calm demeanor strained by the weight of the unfolding crisis. Let me get this straight, she said, pinching the bridge of her nose. A quantum physics experiment gone awry has not only proven the existence of alien life, but has also somehow broadcast our presence to the entire galaxy. Dr. Ilara Chen, still reeling from the events of the past few hours, nodded. That's essentially correct, Madam President. Though I'd argue the experiment didn't go awry, it just had some unexpected side effects. Beside her, Zixanth stood impassively, its iridescent scales now a muted silver that seemed to absorb the room's tension. The alien diplomat had insisted on addressing Earth's leaders directly, much to the consternation of the various intelligence and military personnel present. With all due respect, Dr. Chen, General Marcus Steele interjected, his voice gruff. Unexpected side effects that potentially expose Earth to alien invasion aren't exactly a cause for celebration. President Khoury held up a hand, silencing the room. Zixanth, you mentioned earlier that not everyone in the galactic community would be pleased by humanity's emergence. Can you elaborate on that? The alien's vertical eyelids blinked slowly, a gesture that seemed to convey both thoughtfulness and concern. Certainly, Madam President. The galactic community operates under strict protocols regarding the integration of new species. Typically, a race is observed for centuries, if not millennia, before contact is initiated. This allows for a gradual introduction to galactic society, minimizing cultural shock and potential conflicts. Zixanth's colors shifted to a deep blue as it continued. Humanity's sudden appearance on the galactic stage has bypassed all these protocols. Some species will view this as an exciting opportunity. Others will see it as a threat. The room erupted into a flurry of worried murmurs. President Curie raised her voice to be heard over the din. A threat? In what way? Resource competition, cultural contamination, technological espionage. The concerns vary, Sixth explained. But the core issue is unpredictability. Humanity is an unknown variable in a carefully balanced equation. Dr. Chen, her scientific curiosity overriding her anxiety, couldn't help but ask, but surely our level of technology isn't advanced enough to pose a real threat to established spacefaring civilizations. Zixen's scales rippled with what might have been amusement. Dr. Chen, you've already demonstrated the ability to accidentally hijack a faster-than-light diplomatic vessel. Imagine what humanity might achieve intentionally. The implications of that statement hung heavy in the air. General Steele leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. So what are we looking at here? Invasion? Quarantine? It's not that simple, Sixth replied. The galactic community operates on consensus. Right now, debates are raging across thousands of worlds about how to handle the human situation. My mission, before I was diverted, was to argue for a cautious approach. A probationary period, if you will. President Curie's eyes widened in realization. You were on your way to a meeting about us, about Earth. Zixenth nodded, its colors swirling in complex patterns. Indeed, and now I find myself in the unprecedented position of delivering my argument directly to the species in question. The president stood, her posture straightening with resolve. Then let's make the most of this opportunity. What do we need to do to ensure Earth's safety and smooth integration into this galactic community? Before Zixenth could respond, alarms blared throughout the room. Screens flickered, showing multiple unidentified objects entering Earth's atmosphere. Madam President, a frantic aide called out, we're picking up signals from ships. They're demanding to speak with the rogue element responsible for galactic protocol violation. All eyes turned to Sixth, whose scales had paled to an almost translucent white. It seems, the alien diplomat said quietly, that the debate has come to us. As chaos erupted in the Situation Room, Dr. Chen's mind raced. The quantum entanglement device that had started all this, could it be the key to navigating this crisis? Sixth, she said urgently, you said our technology hijacked your faster-than-light travel. Is it possible we could use it to, I don't know, reach out to the galactic community directly, plead our case? The alien's eyes widened, vertical pupils dilating with interest. That is not something I had considered. The implications of such technology in human hands are staggering. General Steele, overhearing their conversation, interjected, are you suggesting we weaponize its quantum whatever it is? Use it to defend Earth? Ilara shook her head vehemently. No, not weaponize. Communicate. Connect. If we can show the galactic community that we're not a threat, that we're eager to learn and contribute. President Curie, who had been listening intently, nodded. Do it, Dr. Chen. You have whatever resources you need. If there's a chance we can avoid conflict and open a dialogue, we have to take it. As Ilara and her team were rushed out of the room to begin work on modifying the quantum entanglement device, Zixenth approached the president. Your species continues to surprise me, Madam President. This adaptability, this willingness to reach out rather than withdraw, it is not common among newly contacted races. President Curie managed a wry smile. Well, Zixenth, humanity has a long history of turning accidents into opportunities. Let's hope we can do it on a galactic scale. Meanwhile, in a hastily repurposed lab, Ilara and her team worked feverishly to modify the quantum entanglement device. Jake, running on a dangerous mix of caffeine and adrenaline, called out, Doc, I think I've figured out how to boost the signal. We might be able to create a stable quantum link across light years. Ilara's fingers flew across holographic displays, making minute adjustments. Good work, Jake. Now we just need to figure out how to encode our message in a way the galactic community will understand. As they worked, news feeds showed scenes of panic erupting across the globe. The appearance of alien ships had not gone unnoticed, and humanity was facing the reality of its cosmic non-isolation in real time. Hours ticked by, a race against time as diplomatic tensions rose and alien ships maintained their ominous vigil in Earth's orbit. Finally, with a series of complex adjustments and a prayer to the gods of quantum physics, Ilara activated the modified device. The lab hummed with energy, holographic displays flickering with streams of data. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then suddenly, the air shimmered, and a cacophony of voices filled the room, alien languages, overlapping and intertwining in a cosmic burble. Jake's eyes widened in awe. Holy shit, Doc. I think we just crashed the Galactic party line. Ilara couldn't help but laugh, the absurdity of the situation hitting her anew. Well, Jake, let's hope they don't mind a few unexpected guests. Because ready or not, humanity has just entered the Galactic chat. As Earth's first accidental message spread across the quantum networks of the galaxy, no one could predict the response. But one thing was certain, the age of Earth's cosmic isolation was over, and humanity's greatest adventure was about to begin. In the White House Situation Room, as reports of the successful quantum broadcast came in, President Corey turned to Sixth. Well, my alien friend, it seems we've made quite an entrance. Care to help us navigate these strange new waters? Sixth's scales shimmered with a mix of colors that seemed to convey both excitement and trepidation. Madam President, I believe I speak for much of the galactic community when I say humanity's story just got a lot more interesting. As the world held its breath, waiting for the galaxy's response, the stars themselves seemed to twinkle with new possibility. Humanity had taken its first, stumbling steps onto the cosmic stage, and the universe would never be the same. The Great Escape. The next 48 hours were a whirlwind of diplomatic tensions and scientific breakthroughs. Earth's quantum broadcast had sent shockwaves through the galactic community, eliciting a mix of fascination, fear, and outright hostility. In the makeshift command center, President Corey listened grimly to Zixan's translation of the latest galactic ultimatum. They're giving us one solar day to surrender all quantum technology and submit to quarantine or face consequences. Dr. Ilara Chen, running on fumes and determination, spoke up. Madam President, we might have a solution. We've managed to replicate the quantum leap effect that brought Zixan here. Jake, her ever-present assistant, chimed in, yeah, turns out we can basically teleport anywhere in the galaxy. You know, no big deal. Zixan's scales rippled with alarm. That's unprecedented and potentially catastrophic for galactic order. General Steele saw the strategic implications immediately. We could deploy anywhere, gather intel, maybe even find allies. President Corey's eyes gleamed with a mix of hope and mischief. Or we could do something they'd never expect. Dr. Chen, how many people can you transport? Ilara blinked, catching onto the president's train of thought. With our current setup, maybe a few hundred at a time, but we'd need volunteers, and it would be risky. Send out the call, President Corey ordered. We're going to give the galaxy a crash course in humanity. What followed was perhaps the greatest diaspora in human history. As the galactic ultimatum ticked down, hundreds of brave volunteers, scientists, diplomats, artists, and ordinary citizens stepped onto quantum platforms around the globe. In a blinding flash, they vanished from Earth, reappearing on distant worlds across the Milky Way. Humanity had gate-crashed the galactic community in the most literal sense. On a desert world orbiting a binary star, a team of Earth botanists emerged, immediately striking up a conversation with local xenobiologists about arid climate adaptation. In the bustling port of a gas giant's orbital station, a group of human chefs set up an impromptu food stall, introducing alien taste buds to the wonders of curry and tacos. On a water world, Olympic swimmers raced alongside serpentine aliens, their laughter transcending language barriers. Each quantum leap brought new understanding, new connections, and a growing realization throughout the galaxy. Humanity was here to stay, ready to learn, share, and contribute. Back on Earth, Zixanth watched the unfolding events with a mix of awe and trepidation. Your species continues to defy expectations, Madam President. This great escape of yours may just rewrite galactic law. President Corey smiled, her eyes on the screens, showing humanity's first steps among the stars. That's what we do best, Zixanth. We adapt, we surprise, and sometimes we leap before we look. Now, shall we go introduce ourselves to the neighbors properly? As Earth prepared for its official debut on the galactic stage, one thing was clear. The universe had no idea what it was in for. Humanity's charm offensive. The Galactic Federation's emergency session was in chaos. Representatives from 1,000 worlds argued vehemently, their translator devices struggling to keep up with the cacophony of alien languages. Order. We will have order. The Supreme Counselor, a being of pure energy contained within a hovering orb, pulsed with frustration. We must address the human situation immediately. Zixanth, now Earth's unofficial ambassador, stepped forward. Esteemed colleagues, I believe we've been approaching this all wrong. Instead of seeing humanity as a threat, we should recognize them as an opportunity. A reptilian delegate hissed in disagreement. An opportunity. They've completely disrupted our carefully maintained order. Precisely, Zixanth replied, its scales shimmering with excitement. And in doing so, they've shown us the potential for growth and change within our own society. As if on cue, the chamber's doors burst open. In strode a diverse group of humans, led by Dr. Elara Chen and Jake. They carried with them an assortment of objects, musical instruments, art supplies, and what appeared to be a portable kitchen. Elara stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. Honored members of the Galactic Federation, we come not to disrupt, but to contribute. Allow us to show you what humanity has to offer. What followed was a whirlwind of human creativity and ingenuity. Jake set up a holographic display showcasing Earth's art and architecture. A team of chefs prepared a feast of Earth's cuisines, filling the chamber with tantalizing aromas. Musicians struck up a global symphony, their melodies weaving together in a tapestry of human expression. As the delegates sampled Earth food and swayed to the music, Elara moved among them, engaging in rapid-fire exchanges about science and culture. Our quantum leap technology. We're already working on applications for medical transport and disaster relief, and we'd love to collaborate on further research. A gelatinous being quivered with curiosity. You mean you'd share this technology? Of course, Elara replied. In exchange for the chance to learn from you, imagine what we could achieve together. Across the galaxy, similar scenes were playing out. Human diplomats engaged in philosophical debates on methane-based worlds. Earth's extreme sports enthusiasts challenged silicon-based beings to surfing contests on lakes of liquid nitrogen. Artists collaborated on massive installations that defied traditional physics. Back in the Federation chamber, the mood had shifted dramatically. The Supreme Counselor's orb glowed with a warm light. I must admit, the humans have shown remarkable adaptability and a genuine desire for peaceful coexistence. Zixanth, watching the interactions with growing amazement, added, they've done more than that. They've reminded us of the joy of discovery, the thrill of cultural exchange. When was the last time this chamber felt so alive? As the session drew to a close, a vote was called. The result was nearly unanimous. Earth would be granted provisional membership in the Galactic Federation, with a path towards full integration. Elara and her team celebrated quietly in a corner of the chamber. Jake, grinning from ear to ear, whispered, Doc, I can't believe it. We just won over an entire galaxy with quantum physics and pot-luck dinners. Elara laughed, the weight of the past weeks finally lifting. That's humanity for you, Jake. We come in peace, bearing lasagna and string theory. As the humans prepared to return to Earth with the good news, Zixanth approached them. Its scales now shimmered with a warm golden hue. Dr. Chen, I owe you an apology. I severely underestimated your species. Ilara smiled, extending her hand in the human gesture of friendship. No apology necessary, Sixteenth. We're just getting started. I have a feeling the galaxy is in for a lot more surprises. As they shook hands, or hand and tentacle, a ripple of excitement passed through the chamber. The news was spreading fast. Humanity had charmed its way into the galactic community, armed with nothing more than curiosity, creativity, and an unyielding spirit of adventure. Back on Earth, President Corey received the transmission with a mix of relief and pride. Humanity's great leap into the cosmic unknown had been a gamble, but it had paid off beyond their wildest dreams. As she prepared to address the world with the historic news, she couldn't help but smile. Earth was no longer alone in the universe, and the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter with the promise of what was to come. The human adventure among the stars had only just begun, and already the galaxy would never be the same. A new era of cooperation. 1 year after humanity's unexpected debut on the galactic stage, Earth was barely recognizable. Gleaming spires of alien alloys stretched towards the sky, while quantum transportation hubs buzzed with activity, connecting Earth to the far reaches of the Milky Way. Dr. Ilara Chen stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed Galactic Embassy in New York, marveling at the view. Vessels of various alien designs soared through the sky, that anti-gravity technology effortlessly defying Earth's pull. Still can't believe it sometimes, can you, Doc? Jake asked, joining her at the window. He'd traded his lab coat for a sleek uniform denoting his status as Earth's liaison to the Galactic Science Council. Ilara shook her head, smiling. A year ago, we were tinkering with quantum entanglement. Now, we're discussing terraforming techniques with beings from across the galaxy. It's surreal. Their conversation was interrupted by a familiar shimmer in the air. Zixanth materialized before them, its scales a jubilant array of colors. "Ah, my favorite humans," the alien diplomat exclaimed. "I bring news from the Galactic Federation. Earth's probationary period is officially over. You're now full members of the galactic community." The announcement sent waves of excitement through the embassy. As word spread, she has erupted from humans and aliens alike. Earth's journey from cosmic isolation to galactic integration was complete. President Corey's hologram appeared in the center of the room, her face beaming with pride. "This is a historic day for humanity. Our accidental first contact has led to the greatest period of growth and discovery in human history, and it's only the beginning." She wasn't exaggerating. In the past year, Earth had undergone a renaissance. Quantum transportation had revolutionized travel, both on Earth and across the stars. Traffic jams and flight delays were becoming relics of the past. Collaboration with alien scientists had accelerated human understanding of physics, biology, and cosmology by centuries. Earth's art and culture had found enthusiastic audiences across the galaxy, with human music becoming particularly popular among crystalline beings from the Andromeda galaxy. In return, humans eagerly embraced alien philosophies, technologies, and even cuisines, though some dishes remained an acquired taste. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Cultural misunderstandings still occurred, and some on Earth and other worlds remained wary of such rapid change. Yet, for every challenge, the spirit of cooperation that had marked humanity's galactic debut prevailed. As the celebration continued around them, Ilara turned to Sixteenth. "I've been meaning to ask. That first day, when you accidentally arrived in Oz, the celebration continued around them." Ilara turned to Sixteenth. "I've been meaning to ask. That first day, when you accidentally arrived in our lab, what did you really think of us?" Sixteenth's scales rippled with amusement. "Honestly, I thought you were primitive, reckless, and completely unprepared for the realities of the galaxy." Jake snorted. "Well, you weren't entirely wrong." "No," Zixanth agreed, its tone warm. "But I also saw potential, a spark of creativity and adaptability that I'd never encountered before. It's why I argued for giving humanity a chance." Ilara nodded, grateful. And now, Zixon's eyes twinkled. Now, I think the galaxy wasn't prepared for you. Your species has brought a fresh perspective, a new energy to a community that had grown, comfortable, set in its ways. As if to underscore the point, a group of young aliens nearby were attempting to master the human art of breakdancing, their tentacles and appendages flailing in enthusiastic, if uncoordinated, movements. Elara laughed at the sight. I suppose we have shaken things up a bit. More than a bit, Zixon said. You've reminded us all of the joy of discovery, the importance of thinking outside established norms. It's refreshing. Their conversation was interrupted by an excited shout from across the room. A team of human and alien scientists had just announced a breakthrough. They'd managed to create a stable wormhole, potentially revolutionizing even quantum transportation. As the room erupted in another round of cheers, Jake shook his head in wonder. You know, a year ago, I was debugging quantum algorithms. Now, I'm helping design faster-than-light engines. Talk about a career change. Elara smiled, her mind already racing with the possibilities of this new discovery. That's the beauty of it, Jake. Every answer leads to new questions. Every solution opens up new frontiers.